Can we have a joint bachelor with Matt's brother and Ivan's brother? Can we do that? Hey, hi, hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Portia. All my friends call me Porsh, so you could call me Porsh too. I make beauty, lifestyle, random bachelor and bachelorette videos here on the tube. So if you are interested in any of those videos, just keep on watching. So we are gearing to the end. This is Batch Wednesday. Not really Tuesday, because when you guys see this, this is definitely going to be on a Wednesday. I'm sorry I didn't get Batch Tuesdays up for you on a Tuesday, but I had to go take my mom to get like a vaccine because, you know, vaccines are important. You guys go get your vaccines. But nonetheless, we are still back with a Bachelor recap, and we are talking about all things fancy suites, or you know, all that romantic and lovey-dovey and, you know. So hopefully, since there's only 3 women left, I can wham bam thank you ma'am this and kind of get through it, because I know my recaps kind of be on the longer side, so I'm not really trying to do that with this video. So let's get right into it. So first things first, it shows the girls talking about fancy suites and just being really excited. Chris Harrison walks in and tells the girls, hey, this is fancy suites. Finally get to sleep with Matt. Make it count. Chris Harrison puts the date card down, and we know that Michelle gets the very first fancy suite date, which she is so excited about, because she's just like, yes, I got the first fancy suite. And I said this last season with Tayshia, but I don't understand why people are so excited to always go first. I don't like going first. I wouldn't want to go first. I would definitely want to be the last person on this. I don't know. I would just want to be last. But before we actually get into Matt and Michelle's date, we jump to Matt in his house, whatever you want to call it, mansion, bachelor mansion that they have him staying in, and he's talking about how he needs to work through some commitment issues that he has, which has kind of stalled him from, you know, having the opportunity to fall in love and meet somebody and get married and have a family before being on The Bachelor. So he says that he has to have a conversation with his dad. And of course, his dad is at the door. I'm just gonna say this right here. I did not like that. It put a real bad taste in my mouth. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it at all. I was not fond of something like that, especially with the simple fact of there are so many stereotypes and stigmas within the Black community. Well, when it comes to people viewing the Black community from the outside looking in, where they say, you know, they figure, you know, their dads aren't in the household, or you know, they don't have a prominent male figure in a Black household. And the way that the conversation was held or edited or just portrayed, it was not something that I feel like should have been aired on national television, especially with a demographic that is a little bit susceptible to stereotyping and being a little bit, dare I say, judgmental when it comes to minorities on this show. So it was a little disheartening for me. Of course, I was really disappointed in The Bachelor for even thinking about airing this, because I just thought it was highly inappropriate. Matt then went to Twitter and started a thread saying that, you know, I hope you guys, you know, watch this episode and watch this part of the episode with nuance and compassion, and just an open mind. Now, it's not to say that Matt shouldn't have had that conversation with his father, because it clearly seems like they need to have that conversation. However, I just feel like it wasn't something that needed to be had on national television, or it should have definitely been had before he went on the show. And we don't really know. Maybe they did have a conversation before he went on the show, but you know, it didn't get as deep as it did on the show. And to be honest with you, it's not necessarily the fact that he had his dad or had a conversation with his father on the show. I think it's just the way that it was portrayed and it was edited. We don't need to know that Matt's father cheated on his mom. We don't need to know that Matt's mother left in the middle of the night. You know, we don't need to know that information that is very private, that is very sensitive. It's just things that were not necessary to us in this particular space. So after all of that, we finally get into Michelle and Matt's date, and for their date, they have a authentic Pennsylvania Dutch spa day, which, okay, so that is what they did, complete with an oatmeal foot bath, being massaged with butter, lots and lots of butter, and then of course the infamous, what we've been teased with pretty much all season, is the infamous milk bath. They took a nice little milk bath. I really hope that none of them were lactose intolerant, because there was a lot of dairy going on. After that interesting spa date, Michelle and Matt have a conversation, and they talk about, and Michelle explains to him how she feels like she feels that she can be 100% with Matt and just open up to him and tell him how she's really feeling, and she hopes that he can do the same. And Matt therefore starts to confide in her about the conversation that he had with his father, and how it kind of made him feel. And Michelle is, although she can't truly relate because she comes from a two-parent household, a very loving two-parent household, that she supports him, and you know, she is happy that she's happy that Matt and his father are making amends and they're trying to better their relationship, and she's there for him 100%, which Matt is really, really happy about. Michelle then expresses that she is 100% falling in love with him, and Matt just kisses her. So after he's done kissing her, possibly with his eyes closed, we see Matt offer Michelle the fancy suite card, and obviously she accepts, and then they go into their nice little fancy suite, you know? Then they wake up the next morning. Michelle tells him that she loves him again, and then we get the infamous words.
Thank you for sharing that with me tonight.
That word is legendary. It's going to go down in history. I'm just letting y'all know now. I'm telling you now, it's going down in history. So now that that's over, Michelle goes back to the house, and we see Bree and Rachel on the couch. Bree and Rachel want to hear everything, but also are completely hysterical with Michelle telling them that, you know, it was a great time. She got to get to know Matt on a way more intimate level. And they just had a really good connection, and they were able to talk about a lot of things and really truly get to know each other without the cameras being there, which Rachel just, she's not for it. She's not for it. She really, I think it's truly hitting her that she's dating a man that is also openly dating two other women, and I don't know. But anyways, Bree is next. I don't know when they announced that Bree is next, but Bree is next. Bree is walking through the woods why they have people walking through the woods by themselves, I don't understand. Obviously she's not with by herself because there's a whole camera crew, but still, like, just walking in the woods, why? So she meets up with Matt, and Matt tells her that they are going hiking or camping for their fantasy suite date, which to Bree's reaction is, say what now? Bree is not a fan of this whole camp hiking, and I'm right there with you, girl. I am not an outdoorsy type of girl. I would just be like, no, we're not. So yes, they proceed to pitch a tent, where Matt acts like he knows how to pitch a tent. He does not know how to pitch a tent. So he plays a little joke on Bree, saying that this is going to be the actual fantasy suite. I think Bree might have had a flashback to Tayshia's season when her and Ivan were in a camper for their fantasy suite. So I felt really bad for her at that part. But later on that evening, she realized that they actually do get a cabin. They get a cabin. It's not a tent. It's just a cabin. So at dinner, because it's not really dinner because, you know, no one eats on The Bachelor, she expresses to Matt that she is definitely falling for him once again, like everyone else. She is definitely 100% ready to get married, and she wants to make sure that Matt is on the same page as her. Matt also expresses to her, just like he expressed to Michelle, that he did have a whole bunch of reservations about marriage and commitment and everything going onward after this whole thing is over with, because of the complications with his father and commitment issues and, you know, things like that. Bree is able to relate to him wholeheartedly once again, because she said that she went through something similar. And yeah, Bree just tells him that she loves him, and he says thank you for sharing that. And then they go to the fancy cabin. And then he makes her eggs in the morning, okay? I mean, that's it for Bree. I don't know about anybody else, but it just seems very obvious to me that Matt is just not there with Bree like he is with Michelle or Rachel. It's painfully obvious. And I feel bad for the girl because she done left her job and everything. But I don't know. So like clockwork, Bree comes back after her night with Matt and tells the girls, oh yeah, it was great. Matt is wonderful, blah, 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 blah. And at this point, Rachel is a wreck. She is a wreck, honey. She is just so upset. She's really confused. She doesn't know if Matt is still into her or not, which kind of almost ruins their fantasy suite date. They go make pottery. I can't figure out the actual real name, and which is horrible because I took a class about it in high school. I used to do it in high school. Clay throwing? Is it clay throwing? Is that what it is? Oh, child. While they're making ceramic bowls or what have you, Rachel is just really like she's not there. She's not feeling it. Matt is picking up on it pretty heavy, and he just pulls her aside and says, hey, what's the issue? And she says, you know, I know you have to experience what you need. I know you have to go through what you have to go through in order to figure out who is best for you. But you know, this is really killing me. I don't like the fact that you're dating other women. I don't like the fact that I'm on The Bachelor anymore. I just want to be with you, and my feelings are hurt right now. So once again, Matt is telling her that, you know, he knows that this process is very gruesome and tiring and stressful and mentally taxing, but his feelings for her are 100% solid. Especially like he said last week when that infamous parachute falling and she fell to the ground, he realized that she really means the world to him, And then he expresses how much he is falling in love with her. You know, as much as I hate hearing Matt saying that he is falling in love with Rachel, I do appreciate that he's not going to say it to all of the girls just to say it. He's actually only going to leave it for, he wants to mean it when he say it. So, you know, as much as I can't stand him saying thank you for sharing that, I appreciate him at least not being a jackass and throwing the L word around. So after that, Rachel and Matt go to their date or their dinner date portion of the fantasy suite, where we go to a nice little penthouse, townhouse, whatever it is. I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but you know, Bree got a cabin, which, you know, it's really nice. It's really cozy, really romantic. Matt and Michelle had a suite, which, yes, that was a really nice suite. It was a very beautiful suite. But Rachel got a whole house. She got a house, bro. She got a house with fireworks. It was just a lot, okay? Rachel got a lot, and for them to not like the fact that we already know what the outcome is probably going to be on this show, they really are doing a horrible job at not making it obvious. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But one thing I will say is that there was a conversation, a really important conversation that they kept teasing throughout the season that actually got chopped off. So there was actually supposed to be a scene where Rachel is talking to Matt and says that I know that color is a big deal, and you know, race is, it was race related. They were definitely having a conversation that was race related, and it got cut. Now, it's probably because of all the controversy that is going on with Rachel Kirkconnell right now. But still, I don't see the correlation where you can openly air a confrontational conversation with Matt's father about him not being around as much and not, you know, buying him shoes and pizza when he just wanted a dad. And Rachel, you cut Rachel having a conversation about race and being in an interracial relationship. I'm not sure. The math isn't mathing at the moment. So from there, we go to a rose ceremony, and once again, I don't know, I guess all the girls just felt like it was a funeral time because all the girls came up with their best black gowns. These girls were dressed to the nine in their black gowns, okay? They were ready. They said it's about to be a funeral. RIP to one of these girls. Actually, Matt doesn't really waste any time. We go on to the rose ceremony. He calls Michelle's name first. And then from there, I mean, like I said, you guys already know, you saw it coming. He takes a minute, calls Rachel's name. After that, he walks Bree out. He has a conversation with Bree and tells her that, you know, he really, really likes her. He really, really cares about her. There's nothing that she did wrong. It's just he had stronger feelings for the other two women that are there. So Bree is like, this sucks, but I understand, you know, as long as you're happy. But this really, really sucks. So, you know, that is pretty much it, you guys. So now we just get into the finale, which is next week. We see Matt's mom and Matt's also extremely fine brother. So can we have a joint bachelor with Matt's brother and Ivan's brother? Can we do that? Called Thug Bachelor, Gangster Bachelor, Boo Bachelor, Bae Bachelor, Daddy Bachelor. I like it. I like it. Don't steal my stuff. Don't steal my stuff, y'all. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this Bachelor recap as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And if you did like it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, guys.